Is the new RS7 Performance worth it? We're showcasing the 2025 Audi RS7 Performance in Nardo Gray over black and gray rock contrast stitch full leather interior. Last year, we got the Performance, which added horsepower and torque. We also had a special edition, but this is still one of the fastest in class. I'm Anthony from Hawkeye Rides, and we're gonna see if it's worth it by going through some pros and cons, comparing this against the competition, and I'll throw in a problem that I have with the RS7 Performance. The front is gonna have the matrix LED headlights and daytime runnings, an animation feature whenever you're locking and unlocking the door, so it's kind of like a welcoming to you. Now, one con off the bat is this is not spec'd with the black optic package, so you're noticing the Audi O-rings are not blacked out. You get the chrome on them, but the grille will be blacked out in the lower air pocket. The black optic package gives a little bit more of that design cue, and because we have upgraded wheels, you can either get that as a standalone package or add the black optic package and it will give you the wheels. But what's housed underneath the hood, that's what changes the whole ball game, because when you're talking about BMW and Mercedes, you're not going to be able to touch anything at this price under 150 grand to have a 4.0 liter TFSI bi-turbo producing 621 horsepower and 627 pound-feet of torque. That's paired to an 8-speed Tiptronic automatic transmission reaching 60. Audi is quoting at 3.3 seconds, and I'm sure you could get quicker than that speed, but when I'm putting it against competition like the Porsche Panamera Turbo E Hybrid, that's nearly 200 grand, that gets a 0 to 60 according to Porsche at 3 seconds. Yes, it's gonna have more horsepower, but then you're paying over 50 grand more than you would pay for this. Even if you go into the GTS, that's going to be slower than this variant, and this is gonna have more horsepower. We're set with these 22-inch 5Y spoke design wheels with the matte gray finish. We have the driver assistant package, which adds the adaptive cruise control with lane guidance, Audi side assist with pre-sense rear and intersection assist. And those red brake calipers, unfortunately, you have to pay a few $100 more for it, but that's 10 pistons behind that RS badge clamped to these vented slotted rotors. This is full track performance right out of the box. Now, the black optic package would give you the upgraded wheels, would black out the lower skirt and the side view mirrors, but because we have the Nardo Gray, it doesn't look like it's offset. Because if you get like a white or a black, you're gonna have that satin silver on the side, so then you can tell somebody was trying to save a few grand, and you shouldn't really do that, especially when you're at a near 150 grand price. Now, going back to BMW, the M5, it's a plug-in hybrid only. For me, that's a con, because I wish they had the plug-in hybrid in a gas variant, so that way you have two different choices. But when you're comparing it against this, according to BMW, it's 0.1 seconds slower, and it's over 700 horsepower. The same thing with Mercedes-Benz. It's over 700 horsepower, and you're getting the same 0 to 60 according to their stats. Now, like I said at the beginning, I'm sure you could get faster than that, but these are all reasons why this vehicle is worth it compared to the competition, because Audi made a vehicle that's actually better than Porsche, and it's better than the competition, and they keep true to the heritage with a true bi-turbo V8. No plug-ins, no any extra batteries that you have to worry about except for the 48-volt mild hybrid system. With rear axle steering that will steer the opposite way of the front wheels at lower speeds, and at higher speeds it will go the same direction, so it gives basically a 50-50 weight distribution. The matrix design, LED taillights, it's going to have the same animation whenever you're locking and unlocking the door, kind of like a welcoming or goodbye. The lower gets the oval exhaust tips because this is an RS. With the most aggressive exit with the RS Sport exhaust system, it's about $1 grand, and I know it's starting to sound like it's nickel and diming, and it kind of is. I don't know what the heck Audi is thinking. Just give me some of these things standard, because when you're coming across the competition, you're trying to make the best-in-class vehicle. You're not gonna do that if you have to nickel and dime me by 1,000 here, 500 there, 2,000 there. Give me some packages, so just add it all in together. And the same thing if you wanna have the dynamic suspension, because this comes standard with the RS Tune suspension, you're gonna have to spend an extra $2 grand for that. Front and rear parking sensors, a 360-degree reverse camera. The wing on the back will deploy at higher speeds, and you can also do that automatically through the MMI touch screen. My question though, is it worth it? To me it is, because you're getting a true V8 bi-turbo engine. The Performance added more horsepower and torque last year, and it just carries over. With these wheels and the spec that it's at, the only thing it's missing is the black optic package. I would pick this over any of the competition, but let me know which way you would go in the comments. Power liftgate going into 24.5 cubic feet of storage, and because it's a hatchback, this is why it's my favorite vehicle. I mean, look at the storage that you have. You get a little storage net that you can pull up here. You have a little storage nook with a 12 volt. Underneath the floor, Audi just does it good. You still have storage and you have a spare tire. And look at this. You have this little area here that you can put any kind of papers or anything like that. Now, the only con that I would have is you can't split fold the rear bench at the 40-20-40 split back here. I don't really mind walking around the RS7 Sportback to fold down the seats, because then it just shows that huge wheel, and that's going to maximize the cargo capacity. It doesn't necessarily fold down flat, but you have a ton of storage capacity. But that's not what the RS7 is about. It's about power. We need to go inside, start it up so you can hear that exhaust note. The key fob to the RS7 Performance. We have the soft closed doors because we have the executive package that also gives us heated rear seats, and the leather, when you see it here, you're gonna have it on the dash, you're gonna have it here, but because we have the RS design package, swaps it out for the Alcantara here, as well as here, and the steering wheel, upgraded headliner, that's a separate package. 12-way power seat adjustment, heated ventilated front seats, RS embossing. The contrast stitch is going to be in the rock gray with manual cushion extensions for the front, Valcona leather seats, memory for the driver, and the carbon fiber twill inlays that go across the whole front, ambient lighting that will be on the quattro badging, satin aluminum inlays with the Alcantara coming into here, and that RS design also gives you the black seat belts with the rock gray. It is a driver focused setup, banging awesome sound system that has 19 speakers, 1820 watts. Let's fire it up. Heads-up display is part of the executive package. Auto-dimming rear view mirror with the home link is here. LED interior lights. And the top screen is the 10.1 MMI touch screen with navigation. Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, Sirius XM, AM, FM, streaming Bluetooth audio, Amazon built in. Put it into reverse and you got a 360-degree reverse camera, or top view is what Audi calls it. With 3D view, trajectory will be all around the vehicle depending on whether you're going forward or backwards. And you can click on this sub menu right here and you can go all around the vehicle instead of using your actual finger. And then this sub menu opens up so you can see a lot of different camera angles, which they give you a ton. We also have the park assist, which is part of the executive package. Driving mode select is going to be right here, and you'll have the haptic feel. Total of 3 different driving modes, plus the RS1 and RS2. The suspension is adaptive, so it will adjust. The RS button right here, so you can click it quick, and that will change the whole configuration of the vehicle, and you can hear it now pumping in through the interior. The lower screen, 8.6 touch screen that is derived for your HVAC. You can also raise and lower the wing in the back. You can also go into the climate control for the rear, heated ventilated seats, as well as the heated steering wheel. Gloss black is going to surround the center, and you'll have the ambient lighting that will just kind of contour in there. You have an area for the key fob with the 12 volt right here. This is going to be pushed back. You can slide it forward, open it up into Audi's phone box, which is a wireless charging pad, and it will also extend the service signal for you when you're using this with 2 USB-C ports. Sport pedals and the flat bottom steering wheel, RS badging with the satin aluminum and the Alcantara. It's multi-function with the paddle shifts. The gauge cluster can go through an array of different content for the driver. You can also expand it out and you can make it more minimalistic, and it will go through an array of different content for the driver, including the navigation to zoom in and zoom out. Contrast stitching is going to have that rock gray throughout the interior with a large moon roof and headroom. At 6'3", it works. Door panel and dash configuring together nicely. You get that carbon fiber inlays that come into play One touch up and down for all the windows, dual pane windows for the front and acoustic front windscreen with a long storage pocket and a hidden pocket for the driver. For the back seats, this is the opening that you have to fit two more with the cup holders, armrests, and a storage pocket. Dual climate control settings is in the back. Heated rear seats because of the executive pack. Two USB-C ports, a 12-volt storage behind both of the front seats with the air vents in the center and the side pillar, as well as a little hanger for your clothing. The door panel is going to get that carbon fiber coming into play. You have soft materials because it's all with the Alcantara because of the RS design package with almost the same size storage pocket. Sitting behind me, the seats contour inward, so you're going to have plenty of leg space. The same thing with headroom. Audi does a good job with that, and they carve it out for you back here. Just when you're sitting into the center at 6'3", this could be an issue because there's a huge hump here. The rails are not pushed up enough, so you're going to be sharing some feet space. Butt, leg, and shoulder space, though, it's actually doable. Just with the headroom, this is what I was saying. When you're tall, you got to kind of move forward, in which your back is not going to be against the seat. But I like the sport bolstering that comes into the back of the RS7. 621 horsepower thanks to last year and 627 pound-feet of torque, reaching 60. Audi is quoting at 3.3 seconds. Now, when we go back to BMW, 717 horsepower. BMW's quoting at 3.4 seconds. Go into Mercedes for the S63 Performance. That's 791 horsepower, and they're quoting a 3.3 second, also 0 to 60. Now, obviously, you could probably get a little bit faster, but when the numbers are that close, now I'm gonna start looking at what is the better option for me, and that's why I like the RS7 Performance. Nothing crazy. Exhaust filtering in like mad. No PHEV here, but you do have a 48-volt mild hybrid system. The ride is smooth. We have it in dynamics, obviously. The steering is nice and tight, so for maneuverability, it's not an issue. Seat comfort isn't bad. The manual cushion extensions is going to be a con, and that's going to take me to my pros and cons right off the bat. Starting off with the pros is the value overall. You're getting a great package, because if you go to Porsche, you literally are going to be spending about $200,000 in order to get something that's comparable to this, because the Porsche Turbo E Hybrid, 670 horsepower, it's not a huge difference. 0 to 60 around 3 seconds, that's what Porsche is quoting. To me, I wouldn't go that route. I do like the new Panamera. It's just, when you have this vehicle, I feel like Audi messed up, or Volkswagen ultimately, because they gave more performance here for bang for your buck. Sound deadening is really good. All I want to hear is the exhaust, and that's all I'm hearing. 22-inch wheels, I mean, you're going to expect to feel some of the imperfections, there's no way around it, but overall for a sport back is what they used to call it, it is awesome. By far, it's more comfortable than most sports cars, especially when you go into BMW, it starts getting a little bit rigid. Don't get me wrong, this thing really does liven up. You give her a little go. Power is just untapped. Bi-turbo V8, it's crazy. As you get up to a higher speed, you'll hear some of the road noise more or less from the wheels, but overall it's quiet, composed, plenty of room, 6'3", and you can fit occupants behind me, so it can be a family vehicle if you're looking for something at $150,000 price. Braking is going to be insane. I mean, 10 pistons is clamped behind those red calipers. Now, the con to it is you got to pay money for the red calipers. You got to pay money for the upgraded wheels. And I promise you, you want to change the wheels. I drove an RS7 Performance. We have a review already on it that was more base. Didn't have hardly any features. And we took it on our BMW course, and literally I was just sliding all over the road. So the wheels will change the whole dynamics. Even though you have rear axle steering, you still want something that makes it a little bit more performance driven, because when you go base, you really shouldn't be looking at an RS7. But what's an RS Performance without performance? Let's rock and roll. it not only takes off like a freaking rocket, it does so with so much power that you're literally planted in this seat. It definitely gives all the excitement all blended in, adding some luxury to it and the technology. I mean, Audi did an excellent job with the RS7 Performance. That's why it's my favorite vehicle, and that's why I keep saying it's literally one of those vehicles in the segment that's always worth capturing. Now, going back to some cons, the seat comfort is good for me. I'm all right with performance style seats. But when it comes to this class and you're putting it against an S-Class, those seats are gonna be a lot more comfortable than this. Plus, whenever you're taking some turns on the road, the seat will add air into it to keep you flat in the seat, so you're not going everywhere. Whereas these are sports seats, so what happens is you do kind of contour to it, but they're not as sporty as BMW, which kind of holds you a little bit better in the bolstering. Just in comfort mode, you're not gonna get that throaty exhaust. It's gonna feel a lot more heavy, and that takes me back to some more cons. Because you have a lot of power underneath the hood, I would hate to have that every time I'm driving this, because I would daily the vehicle. So that would make me leave it in dynamics. Ultimately, it doesn't matter. You're only getting 14 to 21 MPGs, and I don't think you're gonna really worry spending near 150 grand about gas, because that's the last thing on your mind. You're wanting the performance which it comes with, but then if you change the driving mode, it does change the way the driving dynamics is altogether. So the characteristics is not as playful as some of the competition, because when you go into BMW, even in comfort, it livens up a little bit quicker, and a lot of that is because of the plug-in hybrid variant that's added to it. Going into Mercedes, they just got nearly 800 horsepower. So when you add that in 1,000+ pound-feet of torque, it's freaking nuts what they're doing to push these vehicles to go to the extreme level. That's why I like this. It's a little bit less in performance numbers, but it stays planted a little bit better too. You're not gonna have as much tire screech off the line, but then if you do not upgrade the wheels, completely different vehicle also, which gives me the big problem that I had. You literally cannot get this out of the box and have as much fun with the vehicle. You have to add packages, and they literally nickel and dime you for every single feature. You have to get the RS design package, you gotta get the executive package, you gotta get the black optic package, you gotta add safety, you gotta add my God. You made an awesome vehicle. Don't destroy it with all these packages. Maybe just have a trim, so that way I get the performance, I get the executive, and you throw all the bells and whistles in. But for an everyday vehicle, the suspension is not as firm as BMW. You have more cargo capacity than anybody in its class because it's a hatchback. And some other cons, the adaptive cruise control, it's not gonna be as good as Mercedes. They're actually the best in class with that. But this is gonna be better with the sound deadening. The sound system, you do have to pay extra for the upgraded Balliner & Wilkins sound system, which will come out of the dashboard. But let me know your thoughts in the comments. And if you're new to the channel, consider subscribing. Check out the next video.